Hello, and welcome to a new weekly challenge video where we challenge you to question, discover, and create. Today we'll be talking about the science of soap.
My name is Arjun.
And my name is Arya, and we're excited to share a new video with you.
So there has been a lot of talk recently about washing our hands and the practice of proper hand washing hygiene because of the coronavirus situation we are all currently living through. But have you ever wondered how hand washing helps to clean our hands, or what does soap even do?
To show you what hand washing actually does, we can use a special lotion that resembles dirt and bacteria on our hands. The lotion glows under UV light, so we can see how different hand washing techniques affect how clean our hands are.
Have you ever done the no soap quick rinse? This does almost nothing to clean your hands. What about a speed wash, which is about 5 seconds, or even 10 seconds?
To really be effective, the World Health Organization says you need to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds.
That's about 20 seconds of singing 2 rounds of Happy Birthday, which seems to be the perfect time it takes to properly clean your hands. As you can see, washing with soap definitely makes a difference.
But what did people do before soap was invented? Did no one ever wash their hands?
That's a really good question. In fact, soap making is an ancient concept, and recipes for soap date as far back as ancient Babylonia, roughly 2800 BCE, and civilizations around the world have been making soap for thousands of years.
But this past form of soap is something you probably wouldn't recognize at your local supermarket.
These early forms of soap were made by mixing animal and vegetable fats along with all sorts of oil and salts.
While some particular ingredients have changed since then, the overall principle and core ingredients behind making soap have stayed the same. Now that we know when and where soap came from, let's investigate how it helps to clean our hands.
In its basic form, soap is just a combination between an acid and a base. Remember how we mentioned that ancient people used animal fats in their soap? Turns out that fats actually have an acidic component to them, hence the term fatty acid, which you may have heard. These fatty acids combine with a base, which is sodium hydroxide or NaOH, in a chemical reaction known as saponification to create soap. When you wash something, soap is doing 2 things. First, it is decreasing the surface tension of the water, which means the fats in the soap are making water molecules move away from each other. Second, it is attaching to dirt and water. Here's a molecule of soap. The interesting thing about soap molecules are that they contain sections that are water-loving or hydrophilic and oil-loving or lipophilic. When we lather our hands with soap, oil-loving parts attach to dirt, and then when we rinse, the water-loving parts attach to water and flow off our hands with the attached gunk down the drain.
Oh, now I get why washing with just water doesn't really work. Unlike soap, water does not have the oil-loving parts which attach to dirt and gunk.
Exactly. Since most dirt and bacteria have fats or oils on them, washing with water wouldn't do much, since oil and water don't mix. But the oil-loving part on soap likes the oils on our hands, and the water-loving parts of soap likes the water from the tap. This is known as the like dissolves like principle. This very important principle is seen in many other areas of chemistry. Let's do a quick mini experiment to see this principle in action. For this experiment, we'll be attempting to dissolve different household food items in water and oil to observe the like dissolves like principle. You will need 4 clean cups, some water, 8 tablespoons of any cooking oil, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 2 teaspoons of melted butter or margarine.
Set up your cups like this. Add 4 tablespoons of water each to 2 cups. Next, add 4 tablespoons of oil to the other 2 cups. In the first cup with water, add 1 teaspoon of salt. Using a spoon or a stirring utensil, try and dissolve the water, mixing for about 2 minutes. Next, to the other cup with water, add 1 teaspoon of melted butter or margarine and try and dissolve it just like you did with the salt, mixing for about 2 minutes. Let's move on to the oil cups now. In one of the oil cups, add 1 teaspoon of salt and mix for about 2 minutes. In the other cup with oil, add 1 teaspoon of melted butter or margarine and again mix for 2 minutes. After you finish, wait about a minute and observe the results of the experiment. What did you notice? What items or solutes were dissolvable and what items were not? How does the thing you dissolved, the item in the solvent, affect what dissolves and what does not? We challenge you to use the concept of the like dissolves like principle to explain what happened in this experiment. Make sure to share your results with us on Instagram. Interesting, but you know how we're currently in the middle of this COVID-19 virus pandemic? Why do people keep telling us to wash our hands if soap only works on dirt and bacteria?
That's a great question. Scientists have found out that viruses like COVID-19 are made up of proteins and fats. Here's an example of what a coronavirus like COVID-19 looks like. These little spikes are an example of some of the proteins which are held together with a layer of fat. Remember from our mini experiment that fats behave a lot like oil, and they do not like to mix with water. This is why washing our hands with water doesn't do much to help get the virus off of our hands, since the fats on the virus keep it from mixing. Can you think of something that likes to mix with water and fats?
Soap!
You got it! The fat-loving parts of soap attach to the layer of fat on the virus, and the water-loving part attaches to the water when we rinse. This pulls apart the virus and destroys it. It's important to know that the virus can no longer infect us because its physical structure has been changed. In biology, this is called denaturation. It's kind of like if all the bones from your body were removed. You would just go limp and not be able to do the things you do because an important part of your physical structure has changed. Let's see how this idea of denaturation works with the virus in another fun activity.
For this activity, we are going to make our own version of a virus and see if we can come up with ways to change its shape. You will need some dried pasta like spaghetti, but any kind will do, some marshmallows, some hot water, 80 to 100 degrees Celsius. Make sure to ask your parents for help and use protective equipment like heat safety kitchen mitts. For this experiment, we will pretend that the warm water is like our soap. By sticking the dried pasta into the marshmallows, create your own version of a virus. Get creative! Viruses come in many different shapes and all have unique characteristics. Once you have finished your virus, put some hot water between 80 to 100 degrees Celsius in a bowl that is large enough to hold your virus. Make sure to get an adult's help with this. Carefully drop your virus into the hot water. Observe what happens to your virus over time. We recommend waiting about 10 minutes.
What happened to your virus? For us, the pretend soap, aka hot water, made the spaghetti go limp and made the marshmallows swell up. We can see it change the shape of the virus, and this is similar to what happens when soap touches a real virus.
Now we can see how important washing your hands with soap is and how it protects us during this COVID-19 pandemic. Your weekly MCYU challenge is to do your own curiosity crawl on the web and use information from this video to find other ways to denature viruses. There is so much to still learn about viruses. If you still have questions, share them with us through email and social media. In case you've missed any of our videos, check them out on our website. We hope you learned something new today and had fun doing it with us. Thanks for watching, everyone, and remember to tune in next week for our new challenge. Bye!